What's up guys, welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
It would obliterate our government's authority and trigger uncontrollable panic. Honestly, I'm at my wit's end.
Given the two options, opinions were divided, and neither choice posed harm to the phantoms. Velgrynd pondered that the Yoma aimed to subjugate humanity, securing healthy bodies for the anticipated influx of phantoms. Having a controlled pool of slaves would be ideal, and dismantling one of the world's 5 superpowers would serve as a lesson to the others. The human population far outnumbered the phantoms. Even a fraction of them would provide sufficient physical bodies for the invaders' needs.
I understand. The Chinese are likely facing similar challenges. I suspect Rosium declined the offer, considering the imminent threat of riots at the royal court. In comparison, Japan may have had a somewhat smoother situation.
Regardless, it's just a matter of time. The joint Azalian Chinese fleet will be arriving soon, won't it?
Yes, but that's not a concern with me in the picture. However, you wanted to update me on Emil?
The Azalians and the Japanese officials in the room, including Yamamoto, were uncertain whether Velgrynd should dismiss the fleet so casually. However, they all chose to let George speak first, fearing the potential consequences if they interrupted and incurred Velgrynd's displeasure. There was a shared understanding by now that opposing this woman was not an option.
Emil was the messenger Reagan sent. He bears my son's appearance, my son's knowledge. But there was a profoundly sinister look in his eyes.
His son, now a grown military officer, had unfortunately been deployed with the fleet at the heart of this crisis.
It's all right, George. Take a deep breath. What have I always told you?
Velgrynd offered a comforting, steady smile, the epitome of a ladylike expression. It was said to have the power to soothe anyone who witnessed it.
Keep a level head, isn't that right? Oh, I remember, Velgrynd.
George composed himself, recalling his responsibilities as president.
Good. And don't worry. I'll rescue Emil for you. And while I'm at it, I'll safeguard Azalea's dignity too.
Thank you. I feel much better now. Please, save our United States. And rescue my son as well.
You can trust me. We have approximately 2 months until the Yoma fully assimilate into their human hosts. Emil is perfectly fine, all right? And so is the rest of the fleet.
That's a relief. But they set sail 3 weeks ago. We only have a few days left before the attack.
Oh, don't worry about it. That's what today's summit is for.
Very well.
George nodded in return.
I assure you we won't hesitate to provide any assistance we can. I just hope this summit proves fruitful for us.
He stood up, the other Azalian cabinet members joining him in silence. Their conversation had concluded, and at Yamamoto's signal, the guides opened the door.
We'll guide you to the waiting area now.
Velgrynd's authoritative announcement brought a sense of relief to everyone in the room. Grateful expressions were shared as they exited. The sacred Arcian Empire delegation was the next to be called forth by Velgrynd. They had recently traversed the ocean using dimensional connection, a concept beyond their comprehension, leaving them undoubtedly bewildered.
No,
Expressed one minister.
we were concealed in a secure chamber known only to a select few. How did you?
Well,
Retorted Velgrynd with a scoff.
if you don't want people tracing your location, you should secure it with a barrier or something and sever all outside communication. Although, at your level, hiding something like that is quite a challenge.
Outside communication. Oh, did you track our transmissions to discover our hiding place?
A younger man from the group interjected. He carried a god-class bow on his back, indicating he might be one of the 7 sacred treasures.
That's correct.
She responded, showing little interest in him otherwise. The Arcians were in uproar over this, but Velgrynd wasn't inclined to tolerate it. Such things were child's play for her, and she wished people wouldn't make such a fuss about it.
So, you're Velgrynd?
An audacious team member queried.
I am Zang, the current emperor of Arcia. I've heard you've been impersonating the goddess Cardina, the one who bestowed her blessings upon our founder Shin.
A man in his early 20s, Zang, exuded beauty with blonde hair, blue eyes, and a well-proportioned physique. His full name was Zang Yulan Dorte Archa, Emperor of the Sacred Arcian Empire.
Cardina? Oh, right. They called me that too. Something about being too lowly to address me by my real name or whatever. I had no idea my nickname was the one that endured. Don't tell me the real one didn't survive in the records?
You deny it, then? What a mockery. Or do you believe your beauty grants you the liberty to ramble on recklessly?
Velgrynd knew he was lying, that was clear. However, his attitude presented a significant issue. When the leader of a group is at fault, an apology often falls short of making amends. A subordinate acting in such a manner might find the blame solely on them, or a higher-ranking individual could express enough regret to secure forgiveness. However, if the person at the highest level made an incorrect choice, irreversible consequences could follow. Bright, the leader of the 7 sacred treasures, was visibly astonished upon hearing Zang's words.
What a fool. After all the explanations, he still fails to grasp the enormity of Velgryn's power. Moreover, immediately after experiencing such a miraculous supernatural event, it should be evident that it's the work of the gods.
His dismay was justified. Dimensional connection was clearly beyond the capabilities of mere humans. Whoever could perform such a feat must be either a god or closely associated with one. Provoking someone of that stature was incredibly unwise, especially when it was his own emperor doing so. Bright had no idea how to rectify this situation. He wasn't the only one taken aback. Yamamoto Kanji shared the same frustration.
Whoa! Was the Arcian Emperor always this foolish? What do we do about this? He's on the verge of infuriating Ruo, and who knows what horrors will unfold.
Yamamoto's thoughts raced. This predicament concerned him as well. So, the first action he took was to convey a message to one of his assistants.
Bring His Majesty here immediately.
But, sir, that's...
Enough! I know it might be disrespectful, but he's the only one capable of stopping Ruo.
The assistant ceased objections, recognizing the correctness of the decision.
Right away, sir.
He replied softly before swiftly departing. Ordinarily, Yamamoto Kanji embodied the worst traits of a middle manager, behaving like a supreme being while contributing little. Yet, when it came to discerning whom not to cross in his line of work, he exhibited an innate genius. He had skillfully leveraged this ability, safely navigating through this crisis thus far. As the tension enveloped the room, the emperor who had triggered the situation remained nonchalant.
Cat got your tongue now that you realize I won't be deceived easily? Well, it's understandable, I suppose. I know a trickster like you wouldn't comprehend this, but I'm not like the foolish crowd around me. You see, I too have been acknowledged by one of our sacred treasures. I hold the 7th position among their ranks, in fact. And that is the man you were attempting to deceive.
Zang basked in immense pride, and his claim was valid. A divine sword of god-class caliber adorned his waist, emitting a faint glow. Velgrynd had observed it all along, choosing silence until this moment due to her sheer astonishment.
Are you joking? I'm right in front of you, and that's your reaction? Can someone so inept truly trace their lineage back to Shin?
As she pondered this, a realization struck her. Zang, from the outset, hadn't placed trust in Velgrynd, evident in his initial rejection of her. Understanding the inherent caution of a king, she hadn't reproached him at that moment. However, if Zang, despite being informed of these confidential matters known only to those present, still harbored doubts, it was regrettable on multiple fronts. The fact that, after divulging these secrets, she was met with such mistrust was inconceivable. Whether these secrets were widely known, indicating a lack of confidentiality in the emperor's information, or the emperor was slow to grasp this, both scenarios were unacceptable and called into question his qualifications.
Incompetent? Is that what you're implying?
Do you not comprehend even that? How unfortunate. After enduring over 4,000 years of history, I suppose any bloodline would deteriorate.
Velgrynd smirked. Zang's absurd conduct irritated her, but she refrained from getting angry over this. However, Zang himself was incensed.
Not only do you maintain the charade, but you openly mock me? Foolish girl. Let me pose a question. Not only do you dare to claim the title of a goddess, but you also boasted about copying her abilities? Well, if you can forge a sacred treasure, demonstrate it now. But beware. Fail, and your true nature will be exposed.
I'm not particularly inclined to do so.
I won't entertain excuses. You're the one making implausible promises, and you're the one who must face the consequences. Oh, but I won't end your life. You possess considerable power, and your beauty matches it. I'll turn you into my personal amusement, so rest assured.
Zang's reckless tirade showed no signs of stopping. Everyone, excluding him and Velgrynd, held their breath, anticipating what would unfold. While Zang was clearly at fault, Velgrynd's unexpected patience instilled a glimmer of hope in the onlookers. Their collective gaze rested on her, silently praying for a peaceful resolution.
So? You're incapable of any of that, aren't you?
I have a few things to express, but fine. Since I made that commitment, I'll grant your request.
Interrupting Zang, Velgrynd conjured an azure dragon sword, gathering her magicules and crafting it with create material.
Will this do? You might not harness its full potential, but I can guarantee its god-class capabilities.
What?
Accepting it instinctively, Zang was immediately captivated by its radiance. It bore the hallmark of authenticity, leaving no room to doubt her words. Zang, as a king, wasn't entirely incompetent. While extremely arrogant at times, he wasn't a tyrant. He possessed enough conscience to heed the words of his subjects. Today, in the first meeting of the 5 superpowers in ages, he displayed more haughtiness than usual, aiming to avoid appearing weak. It turned out to be Zhang's error, and finally, he grasped it.
Then it's really happening? No, it can't be. It's all so absurd. Someone from mythology, from thousands of years ago, suddenly appearing in this modern age? That's impossible.
His thoughts fell into disarray. Yet, perhaps due to Zang being descended from a former Rudra, Velgrynd treated him with as much gentleness as possible. If he had been an unrelated individual, the conversation would have concluded much earlier, likely leaving bloodstains on the walls. However, Zang, despite his incredible luck, couldn't accept it. In fact,
Wait a minute. If a goddess from mythology truly exists, who would be more fitting to stand by my side? Yes. If I can possess her, all our problems will be solved.
it was an extravagant notion, but he genuinely believed he was turning the tables on impending defeat.
Ah, now I understand. Velgrynd, my goddess. Have you journeyed through time to meet me? What a courageous act for love. Very well. Let me reciprocate your feelings. I vow to love and cherish you for the rest of my life.
He was woefully mistaken, with a room full of witnesses observing it all. Velgrynd was bewildered.
What? What kind of joke is this?
No need to be coy. We'll have to wait until hostilities cease for the official introduction, but once everything settles, I'll willingly embrace you as my true empress. Although history claims Shin never sired a son with his beloved goddess, what legacy will we leave to the world? With divine blood coursing through us, I'm confident Arcia will ascend to unprecedented heights.
Zang's wildly fanciful delusions left Velgrynd momentarily speechless. In retrospect, she questioned whether she had ever endured such an affront in her entire existence. It wasn't just a matter of struggling to make sense of this absurdity. Perhaps she simply refused to acknowledge that it was really unfolding. Regardless, it underscored that even the all-powerful could find themselves utterly confounded. In the midst of Velgrynd's bewilderment, the onlookers displayed a spectrum of reactions. The 7 sacred treasures present were visibly flabbergasted. Desperate to intervene, they exchanged meaningful glances with the ministers, silently urging them to put an end to Zang's outrageous declarations.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Misael W. Hernandez, Guy Ensley, Simon Rode, Emperor WSA, Miko Espinosa, George Hage, Pratik Bandari, Arod Dare, Faiz Mansour, Jackson Early, Alpha Domination. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.